والآن يشرفني أن أرحب بأول المتحدثين. أول متحدثة نقدمها اليوم تدرس الفيزياء في جامعة قطر، ومثلت قطر في نهائيات الشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا في مسابقة إنجاز العرب، واكتسبت مكانها في Ideas for a Bold Future، وهو مشروع لمؤسسة قطر تم عرضه في نيويورك خلال الجمعية العامة للأمم المتحدة. الحضور الكرام، نرحب إلى المنصة سارة المعاضيد.
I'm just going to check the mic. Okay. So I want to start by talking a little bit about my childhood, which, given that I'm only 19, wasn't really that long ago. But you know, I was lucky to grow up with these female role models in my family. My mom is this renowned professor. She's outspoken and she's confident. In fact, she was educated at a time where she would literally be turned away from conferences because they wouldn't allow women in. I always wanted to be like her because she clawed her way through. And man, my sister, right? I always felt like she had the answers to everything. She would go up on stage and tell people about feminism, talk to them about it, at a time where feminism, even saying the word, was taboo. I always wanted to be like my mom, and I always wanted to be like my sister. But I felt like I never could. Felt like I was always just too quiet, right? Too scared to speak. It was like the gene had just skipped me over. In fact, I was such a shy kid that my teachers would have me stand at the front of the classroom and yell at the top of my lungs to try to get me to open up. You know something is wrong when your teachers are telling their students to make more noise in the classroom. And if you've met me over the past 3 days, or in fact over the past 19 years, you realize that that exercise did not work at all. But of course, I was always this girl with these massive glasses sort of buried in my books. But I didn't want to let go of that hope, you know, that maybe I could be like them. So by some twist of fate, I signed up for Team Qatar debate trainings. I always had a lot of thoughts, maybe they could help me say them, right? But I'd stand, like I am right now, in front of my team and just stammer and stutter and mumble. And I'd look to my coach for encouragement, and he would have this really angry face. So that is not the face you want to look for encouragement. But anyway, through some good coaching and some incredible teammates and a lot of hard work on my part, we made it to the World Championships. In fact, we achieved success at the World Championships like no Team Qatar had before us. And by the second World Championships I went to, I left as the highest ranked Qatari debater in history. Thank you, that's a great ego boost. And then it was like a switch had flipped, you know? Suddenly I had all these opportunities opening up for me. I went to Milan to talk about sustainability at a Youth for Climate panel. And this was the beginning of my Pandora's box. They couldn't shut me up if they tried. So then they shipped me off to Manhattan, and I talked about this project on piezoelectric stadiums I had. And these weren't anomalies, you know? I always had a passion for research. I always had a passion for the environment, but I couldn't get those opportunities until I was able to talk about my ideas. And then I thought about it. I see all these girls on a daily basis that are just geniuses. You know, they have the smarts, they have the drive, they have the patience, but they've been sort of pushed into a corner. In fact, they've been pummeled by society to stay quiet and hidden. You couldn't imagine the number of girls I grew up with that were so terrified of saying the wrong thing that their first priority was not to say anything at all because they were too scared of being shamed, of being embarrassed for what? For betting on themselves. I was lucky enough to grow up with women in my family who didn't care about who an Arab woman ought to be. And so that's precisely what I want to do for other girls. I mean, I see all these girls and it's, you know, they've got everything they could have, right? They have all this, all the smarts, everything, but they see their future as like a side hustle. They see it as a side gig. They believe that they can't be the main character in their own story. Well, I don't want that. I want them to be able to look to their future and their lives to revolve around themselves, right? Their opinions and their beliefs. And that's why I enjoy training girls in particular. In fact, my first coach at Keynote would tell me about about going to international tournaments, and she would, you know, go up, give her speech, and a judge once told her, you know, your hijab, it's kind of distracting. You should consider maybe taking it off. Like, there's so much ignorance. We were underestimated at every corner. But now, Team Qatar goes to international tournaments, and all people can talk about is how difficult it is to face the girls of Team Qatar. And it is, yeah. It is that change that matters. It is that change that I am proud of, because it stopped being about me a long time ago. It's about who I represent. A proud and sometimes loud Arab woman. And it's all a bit funny to me, because the other day I was giving a session, and towards the end of it, this girl came up to me and she went, oh, is it okay if I try debating even though I'm really shy? And I thought, wow, how quickly does history repeat itself? Thank you all very much.